Hello there. Welcome to the YouTube Condor Trail video series. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Ventura County section, which goes from Lake Piru in the south up to Highway 33 near Pine Mountain in the north. Let's get started. First off, what is the Condor Trail? Condor Trail is going to be a continuous recreation through hiking long trail that connects the entire Los Padres National Forest from north to south. Here's a map of the Los Padres. It's a very special forest. It's got a northern section and then a little bit of a gap and then the southern section. So we're hoping to build a trail that goes from the south, connects through, eventually makes its way through the gap into the northern, and then it goes across the northern Los Padres as well. Primary objectives of the Condor Trail is to create a true wilderness experience. We don't want the trail to cross through towns. We want it to stay off of roads. We're looking for this to be as much of a rugged backcountry wilderness feel as possible. A lot of the other through trails, they cross roads every couple miles or every day they go through a town. We want this to be a rugged backcountry experience. We also want to incorporate as many existing trails as we can. There's lots of high quality trails in the Los Padres, and there's no sense in building new trails. So if at all possible, we're going to incorporate existing trails into the Condor Trail. We're also looking to create a trail that can be hiked any time of year in weeks and not in months. A lot of the other through trails across the country, they require a huge time commitment. You're spending months on the trail, causing you to have to quit your job, etc. We're hoping the Condor Trail is something that you can do in a couple weeks, a month, a little bit shorter than the longer through trails. And most importantly, we're looking to create a trail that's fun, designed for the hiker in mind, and safe, something that you come back from with a positive experience and look forward to telling others to hike a similar trail. This is the entire proposed Condor Trail from Botcher's Gap in the north down through Lake Piru in the south. So let's get started with the Ventura County portion. It's an estimated 70 miles, crossing primarily through the Sespe Wilderness. This is a Google Earth video fly-through that we put together. It kind of takes you from Lake Piru at the southern terminus and flies you through the canyons and over the mountains and eventually takes you to Highway 33 near Pine Mountain. It's Lake Piru that we're just leaving there on the right-hand side. Eventually you're going to skirt along the edge of Lake Piru and jump onto the Potholes Trail, which will take you up and over into Agua Blanca. This pink line here, pink indicates that the trail is going to need some work or is not followable. The green means that the trail is in good shape, it's followable. Some of the green sections will require a little bit of bushwhacking, but you shouldn't get too lost on the green portions. And the yellow trail indicates that you're hiking along a road. So we've jumped up and over Alder Creek into the Sespe. These are the Topa-Topas here on the left-hand side. Sespe Hot Springs, Mutah Flat. We're flying upstream on the Sespe, all within the Sespe Wilderness. Here's Willett Hot Springs, heading on up towards Piedra Blanca. Bear Creek is right in here. Piedra Blanca, which is the primary trailhead for this region, both up towards Pine Mountain on the Piedra Blanca Trail and downstream on the Sespe. The trail then goes up the Piedra Blanca Trail. This is all in good shape. Heading up onto Pine Mountain. We're flying over an area that's about 5,000 or 6,000 feet. Through the pine trees, past 3 Mile Camp to Haddock. From here, we've located two different routes. I'll get into that in a little bit. One that goes up onto the spine of Pine Mountain. The other one that drops down here and eventually connects in with the Reyes Creek Trailhead and Camp Shydeck. This is the Boulder Creek Trail that drops down here, and Highway 33 winding its way from the Ojai side over into Cuyama. Santa Barbara County line is closer to in this section here, but for our purposes, we're making the Ventura section southeast of 33 and Santa Barbara up from there. This is the first portion of trail, and this is the Piru to Bucksnort. This is the Alder Creek Trail here, and where it connects with the Bucksnort Trail is where we're stopping this one. It's 22 miles from here to here. The first 6 miles or so is along a paved road that skirts along the edge of Lake Piru. We're hoping to one day have the trailhead start here where the Potholes Trail is, but for the most part, it's here. Sometimes you can start at Juan Fernandez boat launch ramp, depending on the time of year that you start. Eventually, you make your way up the Potholes Trail. There's a gentleman named Alan Coles who's been working on this section of trail. It's followable, but depending on the time of year, it can be a little tough in this section as it's very grassy with mustard and such. There's a little bit of bushwhacking down here on the backside, but it's in followable shape. Eventually, you make your way down to Log Cabin Camp and up the Agua Blanca. You should expect to spend a lot of time here in the creek or walking along the edges. There isn't much of the old trail tread left, hence the pink color coding. Once you make your way up to Ant, you will connect with the Bucksnort Trail, and that is a good trail that connects up and over to where the Alder Creek Trail is near Doe Flat. A few pictures along the way. This is looking at the potholes coming down the Pothole Trail. This is Lake Piru here with the Pothole Trail. You see it's pretty grassy here. It's actually grazed with cattle certain times of year. And this is a picture of the trailhead with the paved trailhead at the start of the southern terminus. Another picture of a cabin along the Potholes Trail. This is upstream from the Pothole Trail looking up Agua Blanca. And this is some of what you can expect when you're going through Agua Blanca. A lot of narrows. It's a beautiful canyon. It's something that everyone should check out if you're interested in doing some light canyoneering. Once you get to the junction of Alder Creek and the Bucksnort near Doe Flat, you jump onto the Alder Creek Trail, and this takes you down Alder Creek, up and over to the Sespe River Trail. This portion up here is in great shape. Then you'll connect in with Alder Creek, Alder Canyon. The trail's a little hit or miss in there. There has been some washouts in the last couple years. Generally, you'll see some footprints, and the trail kind of winds its way from the bench down into the creek and back up to the bench. There will be a sign indicated right here saying that you need to take a right up and over this little saddle. Otherwise, you'd go straight down into shady. And then once you go up the saddle, it's a little brushy. This section here has been recently maintained by the California Conservation Corps. And then you'll drop your way down, again, a little brushy, but followable, and drop your way down here to the Sespe River. Along the trail, you see some interesting things. This is Devil's Heart Peak, looking upstream along the Sespe. This is downstream along the Sespe through the Sespe Gorge. This is the first crossing here when you get down to the Sespe. Some wildflowers along the way. And again, looking down from the Alder Creek Trail, downstream Sespe, looking at the Sespe Gorge, upstream Sespe, looking towards Piedra Blanca, and some interesting man-made sites along the way. Then you'll connect in with the Sespe River Trail, which is 14 miles from where the first crossing is near Alder, all the way up to Piedra Blanca. This is a very good section of trail. It gets a lot of use and is in very good shape. The only real problem would be creek crossings. Depending on time of year, can be pretty deep, but it's all very doable. Along the way, you see some interesting stuff here as well. These are the topas looking up Timber Canyon from the trail. And here on the right is a picture taken in August. The Sespe does dry up in sections, but if you know the right places to look, you can find beautiful swimming holes any time of year. A picture of Willett Hot Springs with the topa in the back, and this is just short of Bear Creek Camp on your way downstream with the topas again there and the Sespe River flowing downstream. The next section, once you get to Piedra Blanca, which you could resupply there, is to do about 15 miles from Piedra Blanca up over Pine Mountain, and then eventually getting to Ozena or Highway 33. The trail through here is in very good shape, heading up past Twin Forks, up Piedra Blanca, Gene Marshall Trail, eventually onto Pine Mountain Lodge, and then heading over to 3 Mile and Haddock Camp. Haddock Camp on this map is about right here, and then on this map it's about right there. We've located 2 different trails once you get to Haddock. One option is to take to climb up Haddock Peak, eventually overcross Reyes Peak. This is all along the spine of Pine Mountain, beautiful views of the ocean, and then jumping onto the Pine Mountain Road, heading down the Pine Mountain Road, and from there you can either drop down the Boulder Creek Trail or head on out to Highway 33 to the Pine Mountain Saddle. Boulder Creek Trail is in good shape. The other route is to drop down Bear Trap on the Reyes Creek Trail. This is still part of the Peter Blanca Gene Marshall National Recreation Trail. Drop through Bear Trap camps, over through Upper Reyes, and eventually make your way to the Reyes Creek Trailhead. There is a sort of a funky village down in here called Camp Scheideck. There's also a bar there and a restaurant, and they do accept mail. One option that we've done in the past is mailed food to the Reyes Creek Bar and Grill. Last spring, a few people did a hike where we were coming from Santa Barbara up Boulder Creek Trail. Took this. This is very overgrown. This trail is called the Snail Canyon Connector. Took this trail down, connected in with some other trails up Reyes Creek, and eventually jumped up and over and went to Camp Scheideck to the bar and grill, picked up our food, had a burger, had a cold beer, spent the night there at the Reyes Creek campground. Then the next day, after resupplying, got back on the trail and headed up towards Pine Mountain. So there's a couple different options here on your way north from Ventura into Santa Barbara. As I mentioned, this is very overgrown at the moment, and it's not strongly recommended unless you really like to crawl. And if so, I would say it's better to go down from the Boulder Creek Trail down towards Camp Scheideck rather than the other way around. This is pretty steep in this section here. A few pictures along the way. This is a trail sign for the Gene Marshall Peter Blanca National Recreation Trail. This is a picture of Bear Trap Number 1 camp on the low route headed between Haddock and Camp Scheideck. Picture near Haddock Peak looking out towards the Cuyama Badlands. And this is Peter Blanca near the Peter Blanca Trailhead. One problem with the high route is it does get quite a lot of snow. If you go there in the wintertime or early spring, chances are there'll be some snow at the top, sometimes as much as 2 or 3 feet. While it's okay to camp in, there are some sections that are very steep, and it's not the safest traveling along the top there. That might be an alternative why you want to go down on the low route. A big advantage to the high route is you do have beautiful ocean views, pine trees. It's very spectacular on Pine Mountain. And this is a picture of the last climb up from Bear Trap Creek up to Haddock. It does get snowy up along the top there from Haddock to Pine Mountain Lodge, but the trail isn't quite as steep as it is if you're along the top. That concludes the Ventura County portion. Eventually you'll make your way to Highway 33 or to Ozana Station, and if you want to continue along, do a YouTube search for the Santa Barbara section of the Condor Trail, and we'll take you through Santa Barbara up to San Luis Obispo.